CTV News with Sarah Freemark.
We're almost at the year's worth of snow, and we still have January to go, February, March, and dare say April.
A wallop of winter weather as the region digs out from another storm. Good evening. People across much of our area woke up to piles of snow, and it just kept coming. First, bus cancellations, then a message from police, but the question becomes, is more on the way? Let's get to CTV's Rob Cooper. He joins us live tonight from downtown Barrie. Rob, just when we thought Mother Nature intended to lighten up.
Well, it's certainly been a quick return to winter's wrath, Sarah, after a January thaw that lasted just over 7 days. This morning, that frigid cold and snow returning again, crippling the entire region. And word tonight from Environment Canada, get used to it, at least for now.
There was no lake effect with this one. The storm was more centered in Toronto, and that's why they got more snow.
Even by snowbelt standards, it was a lot of snow. The heavy snowfall started last night and didn't stop in many spots until late this morning. Roads were so snow-packed, many events across the county have been canceled for tonight. Once again, school buses taken off the roads.
A lot of snow. When I saw that, I heard first that our school buses are canceled. So my kids were happy.
Police were asking drivers to stay off the roads unless it was absolutely necessary, not just because of the accumulation, but the blowing snow that continued.
Avoid non-essential travel if possible.
CAA reporting wait times of up to 3 hours in parts of Simcoe County. Another shift of snow clearing for people who have had their share so far this winter.
Well, I put more gas in my snowblower this year than I probably have in the last 5 years.
From Innisfil to Barrie to Southern Georgian Bay.
How are you handling it?
I just love it. That's all you do when you're retired. Shovel snow in the winter and enjoy it.
Barrie has collected about 240 centimeters of snow so far this year. Typically, it would have about 130 centimeters by this time of year. So mid-January and lots of winter left.
Rob, the next 7 days are all going to have some snow. I mean, we're locked into this frigid air. We're going to see everywhere in Canada. We're the second coldest country in the world. Well, next week we're going to prove it because it's going to be from coast to coast to coast. We're all going to be frigid.
All right, back live in downtown Barrie by the waterfront now. So the question is, what's next in the next several days? Dave Phillips telling me this afternoon more of those frigid temperatures and certainly have that snowblower on the ready, Sarah.
Now, Casey will have our forecast in just a few minutes, Rob, but looking long term, when might we see a thaw?
Well, according to Environment Canada, they say get used to these kinds of conditions. Dave Phillips again suggesting we may see our next January thaw, perhaps sometime in February. Reporting live in Barrie, I'm Rob Cooper. Let's go back to you in the newsroom.
Okay, thanks for that, Rob. Now, we weren't the only ones hit hard by that storm. Toronto and the GTA woke up to significant snow that forced some schools to close, along with road closures and some crashes. Up to 40 centimeters as expected across the GTA when it's all said and done, and that prompted the city of Toronto to issue a major snowstorm event. That allows the city to move snow to designated storage sites in areas that have capacity issues. It also prohibits parking on roads with designated snow routes. The DVP had to be closed for a portion of the day for snow clearing after a number of crashes and reports of black ice, and most major school boards were also closed for the day given the weather.
What happened to you today? I see you're stranded on the side of the road.
Yeah, we got a flat tire and we're still waiting for the CAA, and since 7 o'clock until now, the CAA doesn't arrive.
It's 11:30. You've been waiting 4.5 hours.
4.5, yes, that's right.
Oh, because of the weather.
Because of the weather, it's a terrible weather, yeah.
How frustrating is that?
Well, I hope it can hold my frustration, but it's really frustrating.
So what's happened to you here?
My car stuck. I was delivering to the building here, and I finished the delivery, and I was going, and my car stuck, that's what.
Oh no, so you're delivering food?
Yes.
How long have you been out here and how many times today?
I was out here 2 hours earlier, and I just started back out again.
There's a lot of snow already.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, it's like I never did anything.
And it was all hands on deck at Pearson International Airport today as the storm impacted flights in and out of Toronto. Crews have been out all day clearing off the runways to allow planes to take off and land. Officials say at least 20 centimeters has fallen so far at the airport. Despite their best efforts, flight delays have been reported. Airport officials remind people flying to check the status of their flights with the airline. Oh boy, Case, talk about a winter wallop. It seems as though we've got a brief reprieve here, though.
Well, it all depends what you mean as far as reprieve go. I mean, it's risk of frostbite right across our region. So although it's not coming down, you still feel it. You really do. There is a risk of frostbite, and I'm going to say bundle up at the best of times during the winter, but really, really think about going out tonight because it is excruciatingly cold. Let's continue on right now with the first look at the forecast. And yeah, we've established the cold. We've established first look at the forecast brought to you by Presler Injury Law. Call 1-800-JUSTICE. Minus 13 out here without the wind chill. When you factor in the wind chill, yeah, we're into the minus 20s. Winds are picking up out of the northwest, 20 kilometers an hour. The gust as high as about 40 a little later on. This is the temperature outside your door as we speak at this very moment. Looks like minus 13 in Gravenhurst, minus 11 in Alliston, minus 14 in Mount Forest, minus 12 in Owen Sound, and minus 10 in Toronto. How about a look at the radar satellite images over the last little while? And yes, for a good part of the day, we had a snow squall warning. And that has now been lifted, but there are still lots of watches and warnings right across the board and a risk of frostbite. Not quite record worthy, but it doesn't matter. We're talking frostbite. We're done talking. It's cold. Coming up, when we see the sun again. Remember that? Yeah, all that coming up in a few minutes' time. Back inside Sarah.
Once upon a time. Thanks very much, Case. A new cutting-edge robot is coming to the surgical suite at the region's largest hospital. CTV's Jack Morris takes a look at what that means for patients.
This is one of the new surgical robots, and it's changing how orthopedic surgeries are done at RVH.
Allows us to do less soft tissue dissection, really perhaps a little bit less invasive of a procedure, which ultimately will in turn to give them less pain, improve mobility, and hopefully get back to everything as soon as they can.
It started when surgeons came to the RVH Foundation with a plan.
We had some really dedicated, focused surgeons who really thought that this would be a wonderful addition to our community and the patients that we serve.
$3 million, and 18 months later, the robots are set to assist in their first surgery Monday.
It can be as accurate as 0.75 millimeters, and it will actually stop us if we go outside that. And so they are not doing the surgery for us. We are still in full control, and we can dictate where to go. But what they do help is our precision and the less possibility of having any complications.
It's not just good for surgeons and patients, it also makes the hospital more desirable for medical residents and new doctors.
To really attract the best and the brightest to our area and to keep them here, we need to be able to keep up on the technology side, to be able to have these services that physicians are being trained on.
That means taking care of patients well into the future. But for the surgeons who will be using it, it's about what it means today.
When you see a patient at 2 or 6 weeks post-operatively and they say, hey, the pain that I've been struggling with for the last 2 years is completely gone. It's really something that is indescribable. I'm helping someone out. My goal is for all of my patients to be pain-free, and this is going to help us do that.
Not just transforming the way RVH does surgery, but changing lives. Jack Moore, CTV News, Barrie.
Barrie's newest residents got a chance to ask questions and learn more at an open house today. This after the city acquired land from Springwater and Oromadante.
I have a list of the addresses. I just have to check what you have.
I'm a farmer, and they're taking all our farmland. I have a son that wants to farm in the future. Yeah, so it's quite a negative for agriculture and for our community, yes.
Really trying to introduce people to the new change, so I think that's great.
The information session was held at City Hall for residents part of Barrie's annexation. People were offered the chance to ask questions about how their services will be affected, some immediately and others down the road.
So what we really want is to work with them.
I think that we would be happy to share with them any information, again, about how we deliver services to them, where their property is located. Some people even just confirming them. They are within the boundary expansion area. And then we want to make sure that they're aware of what they have access to now they're a Barrie resident.
The province approved the annexation process on December 9th, and as of January 1st, the impacted properties officially became part of Barrie. The Ontario Fire Marshal continues to investigate the cause of that fire that displaced more than 20 people at a private retirement home in Stayner. Fire officials were called to the Belmont on Highway 26 on Wednesday morning. All residents were evacuated. 4 people were sent to hospital with minor injuries. Crews put the fire out, but the structure is heavily damaged. Officials say the fire appears to have started towards the back of the building, and residents are expected to be displaced for a significant amount of time. Now, the snow wasn't the only traffic frustration in Barrie this morning. A truck fire on Highway 400 caused a slowdown. This viewer video shows a transport truck hauling vehicles on fire around 7:30 a.m. in the northbound lanes at Dunlop Street. Emergency crews were called to the scene and the 2 right lanes were closed. A heavy tow truck was brought in to take it away, but no injuries were reported. A former Toronto police officer who calls Barrie home now finds himself facing serious allegations, accused of being involved in an illegal gambling ring. CTV's Mike Arsolidis explains.
This is now retired Toronto Police Constable John Madeley. The 55-year-old Barrie man, police in York Region say was working with an organized crime group responsible for illegal online gaming. Madeley is accused of breach of trust, unauthorized use of a computer, possession of a firearm at an unauthorized place, along with possession of a prohibited device and property under $5,000 obtained by crime. Madeley and this man, 47-year-old Thomas Fippard of Toronto, also known as Frank the Tank, are alleged to have used threats and violence to intimidate victims to collect their money. Police asking anyone who recognizes and had dealings with Fippard to come forward to investigators. Madeley Toronto Police confirmed retired April 1st of last year, following nearly 30 years of service.
So you're John Madeley?
Yes, I am.
And you are?
John Madeley.
Seen here in October of 2022 alongside his father, a high-ranking retired officer, and son, following the young officer's Toronto Police graduation ceremony.
Proudest day of my life.
His co-accused facing extortion charges is due back in court in 2 weeks, Madeley next month. This isn't the first time the veteran officer has found himself in trouble. According to a Toronto Star investigation 15 years ago, while late for a union meeting, Madeley took a police cruiser and raced across the city, using sirens and driving on the shoulder of a highway to avoid traffic. He was docked 2 days' pay for his actions. Court records obtained by CTV News show Madeley was previously charged with drinking and driving in Newmarket in 2008. The charge was stayed by the Crown. The allegations against the accused have not been tested in court. Mike Arsolidis, CTV News, Newmarket.
A 46-year-old Barrie man is facing charges in connection with an armed robbery earlier this week in Innisfil. South Simcoe police say a man in a mask entered Sandy Cove Variety on Lockhart Road around 6:45 on Tuesday night, pointed a knife and demanded cash. The store owner complied and handed over the money, and the suspect fled on foot. Officers arrived a short time later, and a canine dog tracked the suspect to a home on Flora Drive and also located the knife believed to be used in that robbery. The man was arrested and faces 5 charges, including robbery with a weapon. January marks Crime Stoppers Month, and today the organization held an event at York Regional Police Headquarters.
Our theme for 2026 is Safe Streets, Strong Communities. Together we can stop crime.
Officials at the event used today to focus on their initiatives for 2026, featuring 3 high-profile cases from YRP's Homicide unit. That includes a home invasion in Kleinburg on August 31st, in which a man was shot and killed during the incident. Investigators are hoping that the public can help in the investigation.
Someone watching this may know who that person is. Simple information, like some of his friends or associates around the time of this murder, we would appreciate that information. Anybody who has information on anybody involved in this crime, please provide us with a tip.
Any tips submitted through Crime Stoppers that assist in YRP's investigations, especially in these 3 high-profile cases, will qualify for double the cash rewards. A new era in relations between Canada and China as the 2 nations sign trade and economic cooperation agreements to boost exports. But as CTV's Annie Bergerac-Oliver reports, still no breakthrough in reducing tariffs on canola and seafood products.
A grand ceremony full of pageantry in China's House of Political Power, marking the restart of a Canada-China relationship that has been largely non-existent for years.
I believe
The progress that we have made in the partnership sets us up well for the new world order. It's a partnership with new focus and greater depth and a sense of purpose.
Prime Minister Mark Carney receiving a warm welcome from various Chinese leaders Thursday, who said bilateral relations have hit a turning point.
China is prepared to work with Canada to follow through on the important consensus between our leaders and move forward our strategic partnership on a trajectory of healthy, steady, and sustainable development.
Agreements signed today pledge greater dialogue in areas including forestry, tourism, culture, and food safety. On energy, the pact recognizes Canada as an important potential partner in oil and gas.
What we heard loud and clear is China is looking for reliable trading partners that don't use energy for coercion.
So far, there has been no agreement publicly about tariffs, but Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe, who has been outspoken about the need to remove canola tariffs, was invited to sit in on a meeting with Premier Lee. Tomorrow, Prime Minister Mark Carney will meet with Xi Jinping. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Beijing, China.
A Canadian citizen has died amid widespread anti-government protests in Iran. Details have not been released, but Global Affairs spokesperson John Babcock says, quote, Canada strongly condemns the horrific killing of protesters in Iran. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand took to social media with a post that reads in part, a Canadian citizen has died in Iran at the hands of the Iranian authorities. Our consular officials are in contact with the victim's family in Canada, and my deepest condolences are with them at this time. The death comes as the UN Security Council holds an emergency meeting on the unrest in Iran. Protests broke out more than 2 weeks ago and have left more than 2,500 people dead, according to human rights groups. On Wednesday, Iran's Chief Justice signaled that trials and executions of detained protesters would be fast-tracked, but U.S. President Donald Trump said otherwise.
Been informed by very important sources on the other side, and they've said the killing has stopped and the executions won't take place.
Earlier, Trump warned Iranian authorities that if executions took place, the U.S. would intervene and take strong action against Iran. The president's message was repeated today during that White House press briefing. A four-person crew of astronauts are back on Earth after their mission to the International Space Station was cut short because of an undisclosed medical condition.
They deploy around 119 miles per hour, and they'll decelerate it down to about 15, 16 miles per hour.
The Crew Dragon capsule splashed down in the Pacific Ocean near San Diego just after midnight, capping off a 10-hour descent from the space station. The plan to bring the crew home weeks ahead of schedule was announced on January 8th, marking the first time that NASA had to cut short a mission because of a medical emergency. Coming up next here on CTV Barrie, honoring Simcoe County through the generations, where you can take in the new exhibit that pairs gallery studies students with renowned artists. Plus, you can't miss the newest addition to the K9 team here in Barrie, and a little snow isn't stopping her. We'll share why she's so unique next. Thanks for staying with us. She's been a member of the Barrie Police team for more than 6 months, and not even today's snow will stop her from locating her target.
This is Poppy. She's our newest search and rescue dog. She's 2.5 years old. She's a lab, what we call fox red color. So she looks a little bit different than a regular yellow lab, just due to her color, which is pretty unique.
Poppy is trained in human remains detection as well as search and rescue. That means she can search for people whether they are alive or deceased, and there's something particularly unique about her.
With a search and rescue dog, the idea behind that is to safely locate people, whether it be through tracking or an off-lead search. an area search. They use their nose to locate these people. She's also cross-trained in cadaver detection in the event that we're searching for a person that might be deceased. We haven't had the capability to search for people off lead before. With technology, I'm able to see how fast she's moving, if she's stopped, how far away she is from me.
Her name comes from the poppy flower, the symbol of the First World War, in honor of our Canadian veterans. It's a unique new exhibition at Georgian College that features artwork created by members of two families sharing a connection of spirit and memories. Generations is an offering from the Cunnington and Schilling families, reflecting their artistic knowledge, stories, and emotions through a number of generations and mediums. Curated by Georgian College students of the Museum and Gallery Studies program, Generations is for many students their first time interacting with artists for a featured exhibition.
Working alongside other people and our own ideas that come together, it's really a collaborative work of team effort and sitting down, discussing what we want to portray.
It's beautiful honoring and celebration of creative families, but also ones that are very rooted in this environment and in this place in Simcoe County.
You can take in Generations at the Helen and Arch Brown Building at Georgian College here in Barrie until February. The community is once again rallying around a little girl named Abby, who's been through quite the journey. 5-year-old Abby was diagnosed with neuroblastoma, a cancer that starts in the cells. That was back in April of 2023. Well, the owner of Sweet and Sassy Bake Shop on Collier Street in Barrie is offering a sweet treat, a number of them actually, for pickup, and a portion of the proceeds will go to Abby and her family. Orders will be accepted until January 21st, and pickup is on Sunday, January 25th. This is the third time the Bake Shop Sweet and Sassy has done a fundraiser like this for Abby. Local curling royalty were in Penetanguishene on Wednesday night to kick off the U18 Ontario Curling Championships. Glenn Howard, Scott Howard, and Wayne and Sherry Madoff threw the first ceremonial rocks, signaling the beginning of 5 days of high-level curling. 80 of the best young athletes are taking to the ice, and even a few from our region, a player from Penetanguishene, a team from the Barrie Curling Club, and 2 from the Stroud Club. It's an opportunity to show young curlers in our region just how far they can go.
It's fantastic when you see the youth of the sport. Like, these athletes may be the next Rachel Holman, the next Brad Jacobs. Our kids played in this a few years ago, and I mean, Wayne and I did numerous years ago, and it's just fantastic to see the youth out here, the talent, the skill level that's here, and also just the excitement and the support from the family as well.
We currently have 30 Little Rock coolers, so these are kids under 12 years old. So we want to get all of them engaged and involved to ramp up their enthusiasm for the sport. And the more we can get talking about it, we can get more young people engaged. And that's a key to the future of curling.
The final stones will be thrown on Sunday with the provincial under-18 champion team crowned the same day. As always, if you are looking for additional information about local events, or perhaps you'd like to read more in-depth articles about the stories that you see during our newscast, that can be done on our website, ctvnews.ca/barrier. Scan that QR code on the screen with your cell phone. Carbon monoxide detectors are no longer optional here in Ontario. What you need to know as they fly off the shelves. That's on the other side of the break. But right now, let's head outside. How are you doing, Case?
Oh, not bad, not bad. Risk of frostbite this evening here, but across the country, how about 100-kilometer-an-hour wind warnings in Saskatchewan, whiteout conditions in Manitoba, and a rainfall warning in Newfoundland? Sounds about right. Canadian winter, our weather watcher RT says embrace. Although Maxine, the toboggan's in the air, but we can't see Maxine. Where are you, Maxine? You're watching CTV News Barrie.
Picture this, brought to you by Bounce 1041 and Pure Country 106.
A reminder, we have not yet selected our photo of the week, so we are willing to take small samples of those comfort foods and could be potentially encouraged to select your photo. Picture this at ctv.ca. Please do keep those photos coming. Case, you have been talking endlessly about fish pie. And it reminded me of my grandmother. I think the two of you would have got along quite well.
I'm wearing her hat. Yeah.
You have talked about that, and we'll get to it in a minute, but her background is French. And so she used to make a salmon pie. She called it a salmon tourtière, which has a little bit more eloquence to it. And it had this wonderful, fish symbol carved into the top of the crust, which gave the illusion of a delicate taste. But then once you delve into the fish pie, where does your love for this stem from? It's just something that I could never get around, mostly because savory things do not belong in a pie crust.
There you go. I beg to differ, but a fish pie sounds really good. We're going to get you eating a fish pie, Sarah. We'll get you eating another fish pie.
I'll try anything. I can't say once because I've been forced to try it many, many times.
I might even throw a pickle in it. Why not?
Okay, now you're
you.
persuading me.
Okay, comfort food, yeah, good idea. Risk of frostbite, bad idea, but that's what we have to live with. So get that comfort food because there is a risk of frostbite this evening. Let's talk about the weather and get into it. Here it is, right now. This is the temperature outside your door, and we're throwing in the wind chill. We're throwing it in. Minus 20 in Owen Sound with the wind chill. It looks like minus 21 in Newmarket, minus 21 with the wind chill in the Sunshine City of Orillia, minus 24 as we speak in Gravenhurst when you factor in the wind chill. But ladies and gentlemen, we have a long way to go from there. It does get chillier. This is the almanac for today, and I want to draw your attention to a record 1953, 9.4 degrees, record warmth on this day. And we're not going to break the record set in 1866 before Canada became Canada, minus 35. But it's going to feel pretty close when you factor in the wind chill. Sunrise, sunset, 9 hours, 15 minutes of daylight. Roll that forecast radar, if you would please, Adam. Thank you very much. And here we go. Yes, the snow squall warning passed off to the side, and we have a little something on the way. There it is, yeah, in the form of more snow. More snow on the way, yes. Winter in Canada, south central Ontario. This is southern Temple, George and Bay Lake, Simcoe, overnight temperatures. Well, with the wind chill, minus 28. Okay, risk of frostbite, we've established that. Still a chance of a few lingering flurries this evening, anywhere 2 to 4 centimeters in some areas. That's just some lost streamers. And then for tomorrow, minus 3, minus 4, mainly cloudy, a snippet of sunshine, and some flurries in the latter part of the day, as we just saw with the forecast radar. Orangeville, Bradford, Georgina, Newmarket, Richmond Hill, minus 24, risk of frostbite this evening, I should say. And flurries, well, yes, could still be 2 centimeters of flurry activity. The most of it has moved on, but minus 2, minus 4, and mainly cloudy skies tomorrow and some snow into the latter part of the day, early evening. And ladies and gentlemen, minus 31 with the wind chill this evening. Up Parry Sound, Huntsville, Bracebridge, Gravenhurst, Halliburton. So that's some kind of cold. It really is. Increasing cloud cover in Parry Sound. Clear skies, Huntsville, Bracebridge, and Gravenhurst. And then snow and then clearing in the Halliburton region. For tomorrow, mainly cloudy. 60% chance of flurry activity. That's tonight and tomorrow. Now, time for the Diamond and Diamond Lawyers 5-day extended forecast. More snow, you say, Sarah? Indeed. This is a bit of a snowy weekend, or it's certainly setting that up to be as such. Saturday, 60% chance of snow. Looks like minus 2, so we're a bit of a reprieve from the risk of frostbite. And then Sunday, 40% chance of flurry activity, minus 13 for the overnight low. Looks like we're getting a little cooler on Monday, 60% chance of snow, minus 8 for the high, minus 12 and snow on Tuesday. This is the 5-day extended forecast, York Region. Have a look. Saturday, Sunday, 60 and a 40% chance of snow, mild at 0 for the high on Saturday. And then Monday arrives, 60% chance of snow, minus 6 and minus 10, and a 40% chance of snow under cloudy skies on Tuesday. Muskoka, Parry Sound, Halliburton, yeah, not a whole lot of sunshine, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly Friday, we got a snippet of it, and then Saturday, Sunday, snow, minus 2, minus 7. Monday, Tuesday, snow. This, of course, Muskoka, Parry Sound, Halliburton, minus 9 and minus 13 is the high on Tuesday. So cold and snowy, that's winter, and we've established that. And keep warm with the granny hat. That's what I say. Back inside Sarah.
We will get him to explain that before the end of this hour. But let's talk about Ontario's new rules for carbon monoxide detectors, because they came into effect at the beginning of the year. And as CTV's Hannah Schmidt reports, there's been a rush on buying the devices that warn about what's often called the silent killer.
So with carbon monoxide is a silent killer. That's what they call it.
Carbon monoxide doesn't give you a warning sign. No smell, no color, no taste. That's why fire officials say early detection matters. And Ontario's new rules for detectors are now in place.
The Ontario Fire Code has implemented on every story carbon monoxide alarms are required to be installed.
The Fire Marshal's Public Safety Council says there's been a surge in interest, especially in combination smoke and carbon monoxide alarms.
We've seen it is a lot of panic. People have run out. They're trying to buy new alarms. They don't really understand what they need to do or why they need to do it. If you're asking questions on carbon monoxide, just get a combination alarm. It's a smoke and CO alarm. It'll protect you.
Some of the things we always look at is we want to make sure that it's either CSA certified, ULC listed, or as well as Intertech. Those are the ones that we commonly look for.
At this home hardware store in Kitchener, they've also noticed the surge.
Just trying to make sure that we have products coming in weekly so that we can keep the shelves full, because there's been a huge demand.
With customers spending more time in the safety aisle, checking out options and asking questions.
This is the basic one here. This is the plug-in, so that's our best seller. And most people are just trying to do their due diligence and get another one, so that they have the proper amount in their house.
If you already have a hardwired carbon monoxide alarm, it's required that you don't reduce the level of protection and that you keep it at hardwired interconnected.
Beyond retail shelves, some homeowners could also benefit from an ongoing safety initiative. The Fire Marshal's Public Safety Council and Enbridge Gas are installing hybrid smoke and carbon monoxide monitors in select Ontario homes, free of charge, as part of a prevention-focused pilot project.
In 2025, Enbridge Gas donated 14,220 free combination carbon monoxide and smoke detectors to 75 fire departments across the province, and then were further allocated by the fire departments as they saw fit.
A step towards keeping more homes across Ontario safe. A couple of reminders. Fire officials say alarms should be tested monthly and fuel-burning appliances should be serviced regularly. They also say homeowners should make sure they're familiar with installation rules and that renters should speak with their landlords. Hannah Schmidt, CTV News, Kitchener.
Still to come, controversy around things like declawing cats and debarking dogs. The province is considering no longer allowing owners to move forward with what's called unnecessary medical veterinary procedures. We'll be joined by the Ontario SPCA and Humane Society next. You're watching CTV Barrie. Recapping our top stories, heavy snowfall started last night. It didn't stop in many spots until late this morning. Roads were so snow-packed, many events across the county have been canceled for tonight. Once again, school buses were taken off the roads. A new surgical robot is changing how orthopedic surgeries are done at the Royal Victoria Regional Health Centre. The robots are set to assist in their first surgery on Monday. Officials said the addition of the robots will make the hospital more desirable for medical residents and new doctors. And 55-year-old John Maidley from Barrie, a retired Toronto police constable, is accused of breach of trust, unauthorized use of a computer, and possession of a firearm at an unauthorized place. Maidley and 47-year-old Thomas Pard are alleged to have used threats and violence to intimidate victims to collect their money. The province is considering new regulations that would ban certain procedures on cats and dogs. And you, the public, can have your say. Joining us now to talk more about this from the OSPCA and Humane Society is Director of Government Relations, Drew Woodley, joining us from Toronto tonight. Great to have you, Drew.
Thanks for having me.
So for those that are just learning about this, what is considered a medically unnecessary veterinary procedure?
A medically unnecessary veterinary procedure is just that, when a procedure is performed for something other than medical reasons, say for convenience purposes or cosmetic and appearance purposes. So for example, if a cat was scratching the furniture and an owner had its toes partially amputated so it couldn't scratch, that would be banned. But if a veterinarian determined that there was a tumor and part of that toe had to be removed for that reason, there's a medical necessity, and that would be allowed.
What exactly is debarking a dog?
Debarking is a procedure where part of the dog's, basically their windpipe is partially removed, that prevents or reduces the volume of the dog's ability to bark. Sometimes it's done for medical purposes, again, in cases of tumor or cancer, but it's sometimes also done simply because a dog barks loud or barks too much, and we think that kind of procedure needs to be banned.
Would cropping of the ears fall under that category as well for the unnecessary procedures?
Yes, it would. Again, this is a procedure that is often done for appearance purposes. Some people like certain breeds of dogs to have a particular look that is sort of developed over time. And instead of it being a natural part of the dog's appearance, the ear is cropped to give it that aesthetic quality that people are looking for.
Now, what is being left out? Because I often think of docking the tail of a dog, but I understand that might not necessarily fall under this category.
Unfortunately, we aren't seeing that as part of the government's consultation. Back in 2023, when the province first announced that it was planning to do a consultation on this issue, it listed 4 procedures that it was really looking at. Tail docking was on that list. And for some reason, the government has quietly chosen to drop it from the documents that it's circulating for the consultation. And we think that's wrong. We think that puppies as young as a few days old shouldn't have their tails amputated simply for cosmetic or appearance purposes. There should be an exemption for medical purposes, obviously, but that aesthetic tail docking needs to be included in the list of procedures that will be banned.
Why do you say that Ontario, our province, is actually behind when it comes to these restrictions?
Every other province in Canada has some type of ban or restriction in place. It varies by province as to which procedures are covered and whether the restriction comes from the government or from the veterinary community. But Ontario is the only province without some kind of restriction or ban, which is why the Ontario SPCA has really been pushing the government to take action on this issue.
Finally, how can people share their opinions on this, Drew?
Sure. People can visit the Ontario SPCA advocacy page, changeforanimals.ca, where you can contribute to the consultation and contact the Premier to say that you want to have these procedures banned and to include tail docking as part of the list.
Okay. Drew, thanks very much for joining us here on CTV Barrie. We appreciate your time.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
I've been speaking with Drew Woodley from the Ontario SPCA and Humane Society. Now, we will include these details on our website. There's a look, ctvnews.ca/Barrie. Time now to turn to business news. A Canadian-made vehicle is stealing the spotlight at the Detroit Auto Show. The Windsor-made Dodge Charger took home the 2026 North American Car of the Year honor. Jurors spent the last year test driving and evaluating vehicles on multiple criteria, including design, safety, and performance. The union representing workers at the Windsor assembly plant call it a real testament to the members at the plant and Stellantis. Moving right into our numbers, the TSX was up 112 points. The Dow was up 292 and the Nasdaq was up 58. In commodities, oil was down, closing at $59.08 a barrel. Gold was down, finishing at $4,623 an ounce, and our dollar down, ending the day at 71.95 cents US. Despite the weather, the Barrie Colts are back on the ice tonight, hosting one of the top teams in the league. The Flint Firebirds are in town for their only visit to the Sadlon Arena. The Firebirds enter the game atop the Western Conference and with the most points in the OHL. Now, Barrie is riding a 3-game winning streak and sit in first place in the Central Division. Puck drop is at 7 p.m. The Toronto Maple Leafs will try and bounce back tonight as they continue their road trip, and tonight they take on a familiar face in Las Vegas.
Up for McBain. And McBain winds in, drops that back to Gunther. He comes again, shoots, scores!
Now, the Leafs were crushed 6-1 in Utah on Tuesday, but have won 5 of 7 games to start the year. The team sits just outside the wild card spot, 1 point behind the Sabres and Bruins. Tonight will mark Mitch Marner's first game against the Leafs since signing a big deal in the offseason. Puck drop for that game tonight in Vegas is 9:30.
Renata fast, gets it over, Shelton is blocked, follow-up chance, and a swipe in front by Dalton, and it's kept out, but now it rolls in! Toronto with life!
With it.
The Toronto Scepters took on the Fleet in Boston last night. Emma Maltis gave the Scepters life with less than 2 minutes left in the game. However, Boston would fight off the late push and take this game 2-1. This is Toronto's 4th straight loss. The Scepters will host the Vancouver Golden Eyes on Saturday. Now, sure, parts of Canada are being slammed by winter storms, but spring training for baseball isn't far away. Blue Jays catchers and pitchers will report to Florida on Wednesday, February 11th. That's less than 4 weeks. The team will hold its first full squad workout on February 16th. The Jays will play their first spring training game on the 21st of February against the Philadelphia Phillies. Still to come, a Hollywood homage to Canada. Which Canadian landmark just got a big shout out from a hit TV show? Details next on CTV Barrie.
Hi, we're Martin and Steph
from Bounce 104.1.
And this week on the show, we're giving away tickets to see Triumph at Scotiabank Arena.
So make sure you're listening weekdays from 5:30 to 10.
Here's a look at your Thursday night primetime lineup. We've got 4 back-to-back episodes of The New Girl starting at 8, followed by Criminal Minds at 10 p.m. and CTV News Barrie at 11. Welcome back. A UNESCO heritage site in Alberta is hoping to attract a bigger audience thanks to a new hit Hollywood TV series. Here's CTV's Tyson Fedor.
Nestled at the foot of the Rocky Mountains is Head Smashed in Buffalo Jump. The historical Indigenous site showcases exhibits, trails, and lookout points of where the Blackfoot people use their knowledge of buffalo behavior to kill their prey for food.
We pride ourselves on being stewards of a sacred site. Bring more understanding of what the Southern Alberta landscape has to offer.
The site, located west of Fort Macleod, was peppered into some dialogue between 2 ER doctors on the Season 2 premiere of HBO Max's show, The Pit.
Where you going? Head smashed in Buffalo Jump.
Captain Crunch flying squirrel socks. Are we talking in code or you having a stroke?
It's an Aboriginal UNESCO heritage site in Alberta.
We had no idea. It was a pleasant surprise.
It's unclear how the writers ended up featuring Head Smashed in Buffalo Jump for Noah Wile's character, Dr. Michael Rabinovich's script, but was centered around discussion of taking a sabbatical. However, that scene that aired last week has sparked a flurry of visitors to the park.
We watched The Pit. We love it. It's a great show. Big fans of ER, big fans of Noah Wile. Complete reference out of the blue. Got us really excited, so we came down for the day and check it out. We've had a ball. It's awesome.
Travel Alberta has also featured the scene in a recent video. The Pit recently won several Golden Globes, including Best TV Series for Drama. Now, staff of the world-famous site are hopeful the international attention draws out even more curious travelers. Tyson Fedor, CTV News, near Fort Macleod.
Case, I absolutely loved my time in Alberta. Drumheller, how cool is that?
Very cool. I like that. I like the face. What was it? What was the name of that? Face. Anyway, I can't remember the name of it. It was a very unique name, though. It was a very unique name. I like that. I like that. And I was just saying to cameraman Davey Doll that I feel like I've got face smashed with risk of frostbite out here, which is really doesn't make any sense.
You're almost through the hour. It's almost 7 o'clock, but before I can let you go, a face smashed in buffalo bison. The hat. Why? What did you refer to it as?
Well, it's kind of a classic. It's a classic from the 20s. It's very fashionable ladies' hat from the 20s. I think it was again, I'm forgetting the name. Chloe or Chloe? Yeah.
We're batting 100 here. How about we focus on the weather? That's something that you always nail.
Yeah. Let's talk about the weather. Let's talk about get up and go. The hat is warm. It's a warm hat. You need a warm hat. Get up and go looks like this. First thing tomorrow morning, Barrie. Looks like we're looking at -13 and a few flurries coming down. -18 and a few clouds in Newmarket. And hey, you're looking for some sun? Well, you're not going to get much of it, and it looks like you're going to have to head up to Gravenhurst to experience the -21 in cloudy skies. Have yourself a great evening, Sarah. Bundle up with a good hat.
That's all the time we have tonight. Jack will join you tonight at 11. Take care.